The Chameleon is an interesting beast, to say the least. It's marked as an assault rifle, but it looks and it feels more like an SMG. In fact, if you take a closer look, you'll see that the Chameleon seems an exotic version of the Vector SMG with Killer. Even the talents are similar. The Vector being an SMG naturally comes with 21% crit chance as fixed rolled, and Killer gives you 40% crit damage after you kill an enemy with a critical hit for 10 seconds. Let's see what the first paragraph of Adaptive Instinct states. Hitting 30 headshots gives you 20% crit chance and 50% crit damage for 45 seconds. Curious, right? The second paragraph is even more interesting. 75 body shots gives you another 90% extra weapon damage. And the last paragraph states, to put it in other words, that if you hit 30 leg shots, you'll have fast hands for 45 seconds. Not only you hit hard, but you have sustained damage as well. And by the way, you don't need to worry about crit chance, because I'm giving you more than half of the crit chance cap, which is 60%. That's what the Chameleon is saying. Basically, the Chameleon will take care of the damage side in your build, so you can get really creative of how you're gonna utilize it. No other weapon provides such a freedom of choice of how you're gonna use your gear, brand sets, talents, and etc. But what if we take the traditional approach and stack up as much crit damage as possible? How hard can we hit? Let's find out. 3 brands that gives you crit damage: Providence, Sokolov, and Grupo Sombra. Providence is a no-go because in order to get 15% crit damage from it, we need to use 3 pieces, which comes with headshot damage and crit chance, respectively. Sokolov has a similar problem, which leaves us with Grupo Sombra. Because the Chameleon is an AR, Fenris makes sense. I'm using Fenris chest with Intimidate. There's a little equipment that can be very powerful, overlooked for most agents: improvised gear. You see, an improvised gear doesn't come with any perk, say armor regen, crit chance, crit damage, and it's not worth it to craft an improvised mask, chest or backpack. But when you craft an improvised glove, holster or knee pad, they will always come with a mod slot, and that's how we can emulate Grupo Sombra. It won't be quite as good as a true Grupo Sombra piece, since you could potentially get 39% crit damage if you use Grupo Sombra on a chest, mask or backpack. And taking that into consideration, the backpack is Grupo Sombra with Adrenaline Rush. The holster, gloves, and knee pads are all improvised. If you seek for max crit damage, the Coyote's Mask is a must, an exotic item that can give you crit chance, crit damage, or both, depending on the distance you are from the enemy. Because the Chameleon works like a SMG, and it makes no sense to play at distance with an SMG, we are gonna be running and gunning with this bad boy. This Coyote's Mask gives us in total 49% crit damage. The final part of the puzzle is the orbit, and from it, another 40% crit damage will come. Of course, you need to kill something with the orbit and switch back to the Chameleon to have that extra 40% crit damage. The base stats are already super impressive. Now let me talk about why I wouldn't use this build in normal circumstances. If you put this build together and run a couple control points on Heroic, you'll see that sometimes it's gonna feel like you're using Glass Cannon. Sure, you have tons of damage, and sure, having 318% crit damage is awesome, but in my eyes a running gun build should be able to tank 3 elites and PCs with no problem, otherwise the build just doesn't work. Remember, this is first and foremost a running gun build. No survivability means that you can't run around freely. And that's the key takeaway here. No survivability, no running gun. There are use cases for this build for sure. A 4-man group speedrunning legendary strongholds, for example. But for solo heroic, there are better ways to utilize the Chameleon. Here's one example. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you the next time.